So welcome back, and I really hope you are having an enjoyable, stimulating, inspiring summit. I'm sure you agree that our speakers yesterday did a phenomenal job. They very nicely articulated what the potential of OpenFlow and software-defined networking is. We heard a number of presentations from network providers and owners, from vendors, and of course researchers like Scott and Nick. And all of them are basically making a case that something has to change, and maybe OpenFlow software-defined networking is one way to bring about that change. So I thought, let me start with a couple of my takeaways from yesterday. And as I said, yesterday we heard from a number of people who own and operate large networks, from Microsoft, Yahoo, Deutsche Telekom, Indiana University, the CIO's office. And almost everyone is saying that we are facing real problems and challenges, okay? And they have to do with scale and management of these networks. And at some level, that translates into CapEx and OpEx. I mean, at the end of the day, it is all about money. And with the current way of doing things, CapEx are high, OpEx are high, and so on. The second takeaway is networking has to and will change. I think irrespective of OpenFlow, irrespective of software-defined networking, if you hear what providers are saying, people who run networks are basically saying, it's becoming clear that networking has to change. And it may come down to that network owners and providers want more control, and they should be able to innovate faster, and they want more customization. So, and that was a message that came through all through the day yesterday as well. So far, it appears, based on what we are hearing, some kind of software-defined networking appears to be the solution of choice. Because if you want innovation, you want to accelerate innovation, you want to give more control to the network operators and so on, then some software-defined networking seems to be the approach. Based on yesterday's talks, we heard that a number of owners, network operators and owners are embracing it. They want to deploy it, experiment with it, and so on. And the network vendors yesterday also basically were saying that we hear you, we hear you, we hear the customers, and we want to step up and give you products and solutions to make that happen. So that was another theme. At the same time, it was very clear that SDN has to mature to be able to deliver on the promise. I mean, right now it is a promise only, and there are some products and some instantiation, but it has to mature at all different levels, all the way from the basic OpenFlow protocol. It has to continue to evolve to the switches. There are only few switches that are available, and in those cases, OpenFlow is just added to the switch as opposed to an OpenFlow optimized switch, for example. So that has to change potentially. And then the entire SDN software stack. We talk about software and all that, but that whole SDN stack has to continue to evolve as well. I guess based on everything we heard, there is a lot of optimism that it will. There is vendors want to do it, providers want to do it. So it is okay, I mean, reasonably optimistic that it will happen. Okay? Now, the best quote I heard since yesterday is from Art in Network World, when he wrote this morning, OpenFlow and software-defined networking are not only here to stay, but they will define the future of networking. So I think maybe that is one of the messages that is coming out loud and clear based on what we heard yesterday. And so far, we have only heard the first day of the speakers. We have not yet heard the second day of speakers.